All right. Episode number 6.
Start the clock.
Let's go.
It's Oscar weekend. We're getting ready for the Oscars on Sunday. Look how excited you are.
I'm only going to watch it because of Conan O'Brien. That's it.
In a World War III news, we're on the other side now. I don't know if you've heard that. Zelensky was in the Oval Office to discuss the big turnaround. You have to see it to believe it, so let's take a look at a little of this.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. If you didn't have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
In 3 days. I heard it from Putin. In 3 days.
It's going to be a very hard thing to do business like this.
Have you said thank you once this entire meeting? No, in this entire meeting, have you said thank you?
This guy. These guys.
The Real Housewives of the White House.
Yeah.
Afterwards, it's a press conference, and a reporter asked Trump, said, do you still believe that Zelensky is the dictator? And Trump said, did I say that? I can't believe I said that. Come back to normal, Elon. What the fuck happened? Really?
Man.
Elon sent out an email to every single federal worker this week that said, name 5 things you've done this week or you are fired. And a lot of people took this as a direct threat to Congress. I mean, Musk is always up there now with a chainsaw. He was at CPAC
Oh, my
with
God.
a chainsaw. Ha, 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 chainsaw. And Bobby Kennedy saw it and said, oh, good, whale for dinner. Republicans, it was a town hall, and the Republicans were screaming at each other. And so one of them finally stood up and said, please, people, we're all in the same cult.
Yeah.
And now you're going to be I guess, the governor of our 51st state.
Never. That is not the job I'm campaigning for.
Well,
So right now, we are a country where 4-year-old children are saying, how do we stop this guy from invading my country?
okay, so I have a question for you. Can you stop Trump from invading Canada? I mean, the guy you will be running against, Pierre... How do we say his name? Pierre?
Well, I call him Maple Syrup MAGA. Or
First, that doesn't help with my pronunciation. And also, you know what? This is sad to me that everybody becomes more like America in our worst kind of ways.
Yeah.
I remember seeing an ad not that long ago when I was playing up in Canada. It was campaign season. It was almost comically polite. Whoever Trudeau was running against. Why did you turn on him? Because, you were part of his government. What was it? And also, what would you do differently? And if you watch the election here, don't ever say, nothing comes to mind. That's the bad answer to that one. What would you do differently?
Yeah, that was Kamala Harris.
I think
it was last week. Ottawa, I see, is trying to pass a law limiting the amount of time you can idle your car. Now, I've been in Canada in the winter. It's pretty fucking cold out there. That you can only idle your car for a minute, I think remotely
My
in
God.
3 minutes if you're in it.
I think you guys are really lucky to have us as your neighbor.
I agree. You got my vote that I can't give you. Chrystia Freeland.
Yeah, man, I like Canadians, man.
Okay, would you want to see a little more of Trump and Zelensky and let's just see where America is now. I just want to see a little more of this, please.
Oh, Lord.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. You're gambling with World War III. You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. You have to be thankful. You don't have the cards.
Thankful.
Then you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire.
Great day to be an American. And, I mean, my first thought is he's having this big browbeating with a guy who speaks English as a second language.
Yeah, come on, man.
It's just
He can't even get the words out right. It's not his fault.
I mean,
Could you imagine when the presidency was called and he found out that he had to deal with Trump? Poor guy, man. I feel really bad for him.
We were on the side of the victim of aggression. We were on the side of the democracies. We were against the dictators.
Yeah.
We were against the aggressors. And to see this bizarre moral reversion, I mean, it was absolutely clear in that, listening to Trump, he's much more comfortable and sympathetic with Vladimir Putin.
Yeah, there you go.
He doesn't like
From the
Zelensky.
beginning, yeah.
He doesn't. I could almost imagine a conversation that Trump had with Putin prior to that meeting. And he said, you watch, I'm going to make this public, and you'll see how I'm going to berate him and make him feel bad and scare him and pressure him into a ceasefire. That must have been some kind of conversation he had.
This moment today, well, I've never seen an Oval Office like this. This looks like the Emanuel family on Thanksgiving. What is the common thread through all three of these very, very low, very bizarre moments? Donald Trump defending Putin.
Yeah.
And that is the only thing. We worked very hard to keep South Korea, from going nuclear. And they agreed to it. You now have an election where the new chancellor of Germany is saying, we have to think of our own nuclear protection. We're about to enter the era of proliferation. 5 years from now, the nuclear...
You're saying because they don't think they can count on America.
They cannot count on the United States for their own protection. No, South Korea is not leaving their dependence, their security, to Donald Trump and the United States.
That's true.
Germany and Europe are not leaving their security to the United States and NATO. And you're looking at Ukraine. The only reason Ukraine's invaded is because we convinced them in 1994 to give up the nuclear weapons.
You know, look at Kamala Harris. She goes on one television show, 60 Minutes, and does this 12-minute interview, carefully choreographed. He goes on for 3 hours on Joe Rogan. He goes on for 25 hours on 6 other podcasts.
To end the Ukrainian war, you know, we couldn't hear what it was. And then when he got into office, what was his strategy? Give up. Just give up. He just surrendered every...
You watch foreign leaders, and they've figured him out. So if you watch, you know, Justin Trudeau, he said you begin by praising him lavishly. Right. You say, oh, you did everything right. Then you give him none of what he wanted. You announce some bullshit concession. There was some stuff you had already done. And he beams. The king of Jordan did it brilliantly. He said, you know, Trump asked him to take 2 million Palestinians from Gaza. And he says, because of your wisdom and your leadership and your foresight, you're going to take 2,000 kids to treat them medically and send them back. And Trump beamed. It was like, I won.
That's how you negotiate with that moron.
I do feel like Zelensky should have studied this a little bit more. He's an emotional guy. I've met him many times. He's very brave. He's been fighting a war, and he let his emotion get the best of him. The way to have gone in there is first you begin by saying, President Trump, you are a genius. You have completely transformed the landscape. I have with me the order of highest merit. Ukraine has never created a civilian honor this big.
Yeah.
Have a big medal. Oh, I look forward to welcoming you in Ukraine so that we can build the tallest Trump Tower in the world.
That would have worked.
So Luigi Mangione is always in the news, and this...
No, they laugh.
This week, he's getting so much positive fan mail. He's the guy who shot the healthcare guy. Okay, the healthcare CEO. One applause. Okay, great. A magazine that came out, and we have it. It's called Murder Aficionado. And Luigi's on the cover. Would you like to see some of the articles on the inside? Okay.
It looks like he really took that picture.
Travel spotlight. Book depositories in your area. Help! It's prison visiting day and I don't have a thing to conceal up my ass. One-on-one with Vladimir Putin. I blew up a fucker's plane. Top that, bitches.
Man, that guy's ruthless, man.
Especially since we're just seeing... Time for new rules, everybody.
New rule, new rule.
Captain of the USS Harry S. Truman, who crashed his aircraft carrier into a merchant ship, must do two things. One, accept your new nickname, Captain Crunch. Tell us how, with the most sophisticated navigation systems in the world, you rammed your boat into another boat on an ocean.
On an ocean.
Neural Oscar winners must stop saying they're proof that dreams come true. Your dreams came true.
Yeah.
For every one of you, there are hundreds of thousands of actors whose dreams don't come true. Egg shortage has become so acute that people aren't just ordering their eggs online, but also live chickens. New rule, if Mikey, oh shit. Bill, if by some weird fluke Stephen A. Smith doesn't run for president, who are we going to get? The Democratic Party's current approval rating is 21%, which is only slightly more popular than Kanye's swastika shirts. The good news for Democrats is they have that guy, and his name is John Fetterman.
Yeah.
After the election, instead of curling up in a ball, Fetterman went to Mar-a-Lago, where Trump assumed he was one of the guys from January 6th. And when the wind catches Trump's hair just right, they're both 6'8". And when pro-Palestinian protesters showed up at his home, he went up on the roof and waved an Israeli flag.
Wow. Gotta respect that.
Fetterman says the 4 words that strike fear in the heart of every Republican who wants to hang on to power. I am not woke. That's why Trump won, not because Americans were clamoring for tariffs on margarita mix. See, that's how you get these things called votes. And I know it's more fun to make memes of Trump sucking Elon's toes, but with his yellow top and 4-foot rayon red tie mimics the colors that every fast food franchise.
Yeah. Brand recognition.
And I think Fetterman's look works for him. It's a look that says, I'm just like you. I've given up. I'm also going to throw in the best bottom the Democrats have, Pete Buttigieg.
Yeah. You're a smart guy.
A month ago, he stopped posting his pronouns.
Yes. Good for him.
And Pete now says that liberals would do better, quote, if we were more serious about the actual values and not caught up in vocabularies and trying to cater to everybody only in terms of their particular slice of combinations of identities. Exactly.
Good for him.
Fetterman's problem is he doesn't check any box for gender or race, which could hurt him in getting the nomination. John, are you sure you don't have any Latino blood? How does Juan Fetterman sound? Making people sit through a training that looks like something out of Portlandia. Out of Portlandia, where did he get that line? The entire Democratic Party has become a Portlandia sketch.
Oh.
All right, that's our show. I want
All right.
Fareed Zakaria, Rahm Emanuel.
Catch you on the next one, man.
Now go watch Overtime on YouTube.